Palchik, and I got to tell you, I love living in Washington, D.C. Except, you know, it's getting so damn expensive, right? I mean, you have no idea what it costs these days to buy a politician. And, you know, they're just not worth it. They're not. We have a D.C. council member that tweeted, "The Jews control the weather." The Jews, really? They haven't been able to control the weather since they left Egypt the first time. And besides which, if they really had that superpower, they'd just keep Manhattan warm. Well, to get here, I had to go from San Juan through Miami to DCA. I hate air travel. There is no personal space. I mean, you get the guy, the plus-size guy that sits in the center seat, right? And he thinks he's a striker, right, on roller derby. Or the guy that's got to fill up the overheads with body bags, all the while blocking the aisle. And then you got the guy that has the 25-inch laptop where he's watching Die Hard 2 with no headphones. So imagine how excited I was when this tiny little woman sits in the center seat next to me. There was at least 6 inches between her elbows and mine. I had an armrest. Whoa. And she had this tiny little luggage, which she just put so neatly underneath the seat in front of her. And she had this cute little cell phone with a screen so tiny, I could barely see the nude pictures of her girlfriend. There is no personal space. And then I had to change planes in Miami. Have you been to Miami? That airport is like a separate continent. I land at gate D2. They say that my connecting flight is H5. So I walk the 35 gates to the SkyTrain, at which point I got to take the shuttle bus. Stay. I got to take the shuttle bus to the rental cars, had to drive the rental car over to the H terminal, had to go back through security, which, you know what that means, taking everything out of your pockets again, where they got to tell me that my flight was going to leave from D2. Well, at least on this flight, I did get to finish the 2nd season of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I have a conundrum, and I don't think it's curable. I don't know if it's politically correct to like The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. In many ways, it's not much different from the Tyler Perry Medea movies, except it's substituted Jewish stereotypes for African Americans. And we know what Spike Lee said about the Medea movies, right? Buffoonery, coonery. So, is it okay for me to like The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel? Is it really okay for this? Well, let me tell you how I feel. I don't like it. I love it. It is funny, it is well done, and besides, most people think it's just stereotypical New Yorkers. Right? Right? So, growing up, I really wanted to be an evangelical preacher. But I find out that they don't let Jews do that. So I did the next best thing. You know, I became a lawyer. Oh, come on, they're not that bad. They can be very useful as sleep aids. If you don't believe me, ask one what they do all day. If you're not asleep in 10 minutes, you're not listening. But I get it. Most people like calling lawyers about as much as they like calling undertakers. But if grandma's died, you better call the undertaker. And you better call a lawyer if you're the one that killed grandma. Look, all I'm really trying to say is we'd be so much better off if we just called lawyers before we did stupid shit. You know, treat lawyers like condoms. It's best to use. Yeah. It's best to use them before you get fucked.